Hey guys, I just wanted a minute of your time to talk to you about the loss of a loved one. And as you may already know, I lost my dad several weeks ago. And initially it was super painful. Initially, I was dealing with a lot of emotions surrounding my family. As you know, we're not the healthiest bunch of people. Tune into some of my other content for the background on that. I want to talk today about the loss of a loved one, in particular, the loss of a parent. I was fortunate enough to have been by my dad's side when he passed. It was the biggest blessing, let me tell you, because I knew from his lips that he was ready to go. I knew because I asked him in as many different ways as I possibly could. Partially for my own peace of mind, partially for my family, partially to make sure that I understood what his wishes were. Fortunately for me, I had a sister-in-law and my sister and her husband there as backups. It didn't fall on my shoulders 100% completely. But I have to say that in the wake of my dad's death, I've been thinking a lot about grief, and as much as it breaks my heart that I lost my dad, number one, I know that's what he wanted. I know that he was ready. And number two, it wasn't my shot to call. It wasn't for me to say when his time was to go. And how incredibly selfish it would be for me to dictate or demand or expect that he stick around longer than what he was ready and willing to stick around for. He had suffered tremendously over the last year with his medical situation. He wasn't in a place where he felt like it was worth it anymore. It was so hard on him, especially the last 6 months. And I've gotten to thinking about loss and the perspective I have as a mother of the reality that there's a potential that I could lose one of my kids, and that would just absolutely shatter my world. I could lose my husband, and that would shatter my world. Just the thought of it is kind of making me emotional, as I tend to get when I think about it. But the truth of the matter is, I'm making this video for my kids and my husband. And for any of you who have lost a loved one, the parents are supposed to go first. I'll never forget when I was standing at the coffin of my cousin who died at the age of 18 years old. I was maybe 21, 22 at the time, and I was standing at her coffin next to my grandfather. And my cousin, she was definitely favored in my family because she was an absolute angel that walked on this earth. She was the sweetest and kindest and most gentlest person. But she got mixed up into some stuff, and she had some problems with her heart, and she passed on at the age of 18, and it killed my grandfather. We were standing next to each other. No one else was around. We were standing next to each other at her coffin at the wake, and he said, and my grandfather wasn't one to show emotion very often at all. I had never had an intimate relationship, and this is my dad's dad. And I'll never forget him, as we were standing there for several minutes, just quietly crying. He said, "It should have been me." Sorry. And at that time, that broke my heart. Even then, it just sent me into sobs because I'd never seen my grandfather so vulnerable. And in that moment, he was so frustrated. He was so angry that God had taken this little girl, his sweet little grandchild, instead of him, because he was an old man by that point, and it didn't make sense to him. And at that time, honestly, it didn't make sense to me either. But I just want to tell you that if you lose a parent and you're having a hard time dealing with it, trust me, that's the way it's supposed to be. You know, parents cannot handle losing their children. So when they go first and you're the child that's left behind or the offspring, trust me on this. And I hope this helps you in some way with your grieving. That's the way they would have preferred it to be, because it would have killed them to lose their offspring, which was biologically a part of them. You know, the parents are supposed to go first. Truly, that's just the way of the world. That's the way nature is. We can't handle the thought of the crushing, shattering blow of losing a child. So if you're a person who has lost your parent, I hope that reality, that truth, gives you some sort of peace and comfort if you're suffering right now. I can't believe what a gloriously sunny day I have been blessed with on my walk today. Boy, I've got some errant terrors going on there. Sorry about the tears. Gosh, you guys know me well enough by now to know that they spring up at the most weird times and unexpected times, but it's just me pondering in thought. It is really a gorgeous day, just beautiful. And I really am grateful that you tuned in to Whole Wellness today. And I hope you guys are taking care of yourself and getting outside. I hope it's sunny where you're at and you're able to get a little breath of fresh air and some deep breathing and some goodness for your soul. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Till next time. Bye.